A reading from Days of Grace by Arthur Ashe.
If one's reputation is possession, then of all my possessions, my reputation means the most to me. Nothing comes even close to it in importance. Now and then I have wondered whether my reputation matters too much to me, but I can only more easily renounce my concern with what other people think of me than I can will myself to stop breathing. No matter what I do or where or when I do it, I feel the eyes of others on me, judging me.
I know that a fine line exists between carrying one's reputation and hypocrisy. When I speak of importance to me of my reputation, I am referring to a reputation that is deserved, not an image cultivated for the public in spite of the facts. I know that I haven't always lived without error or sin, but I also know that I have tried to be honest and good at all times. When I fail, my conscience comes alive. I have never sinned or erred without knowing I was being watched.
Who is watching me? The living and the dead. My mother, Maddie Cordell Cunningham Ashe, watches me. She died when I was not quite 7. I remember little about her, except for 2 images. My last sight of her alive. I was finishing breakfast and she was standing in the side doorway looking lovingly at me. She was dressed in her blue corduroy dress gown. The day was cool and cloudy, and when I was outside, I heard birds singing in the small oak tree outside her house. And then I remember the last time I saw her, in a coffin at home. She was wearing her best dress, made of pink satin. In her right hand was a single red rose. Roses were her favorite flower, and my daddy had planted them all around the house, big, deep-hued roses. Every day since I have thought about her, I would give anything to stand once again before her, to feel her arms around me, to touch and taste her skin. She is with me every day, watching me in everything I do. Whenever I speak to young persons about the morality of the decisions they make in life, I usually tell them, don't do anything you couldn't tell your mother about.
My father, whose mouth dropped open when he first saw Jean, my wife, she looks so much like my mother, he said. He is still a force in my life. Some years ago, before he died of a stroke in 1989, I was being interviewed by the television journalist Charlene Hunter Galt in her home. Tell me, Arthur, she said, laughter in her voice, how is it that I have never heard anyone say anything bad about you? How is it that you have never cursed an umpire or punched an opponent or gotten a little drunk and disorderly? Why are you such a goody-goody? I laughed in turn and told the truth. I guess I have never misbehaved because I'm afraid that I did anything like that. My father would have come straight up to Virginia, find me wherever I happened to be, and kick my ass.
When I told that story not long ago on Men's Day at the Westwood Baptist Church in Richmond, Virginia, everyone smiled and some folks even laughed. They knew what I was talking about, even those few living in the little enclave of blacks surrounded by whites in Richmond who had never met my father. They knew fathers and mothers exactly like him, who in times past would come up and find you wherever you were, remind you exactly who you were, and don't you forget it. You were theirs child, that's who.
My father was a strong, dutiful, providing man. He lived and died semi-literate, but he owned his own home and held jobs there that were important to him and the people in the community where he lived. His love and caring were real to me from that Sunday morning in 1950 when he sat on the bottom bunk bed between my brother Johnny and me and told us that retching sobs that our mother had died during the night. From that time on, he was father and mother to us, and the lesson he taught above all was reputation. And what people think of you, Arthur Jr., your reputation is all that counts, or so I've heard from many other people when I grew up.
A good name is worth more than diamonds and gold.
What others think of me is important, and what I think of others is important. What else do I have to go by? Of course, I cannot make decisions based solely on what other people would think. There are moments when the individual must stand alone. Nevertheless, it is crucial to me that people think of me as honest and principled. In turn, to ensure that they do, I must always act in an honest and principled fashion, no matter the cost.